Hey guys, welcome back to Reignited and welcome to our new project vehicle. Now I know a lot of you will not be surprised by this choice. A lot of interest in these right now. This is a 2005 Dodge Magnum RT with the Hemi engine, obviously. Now, this is going to be our test bed vehicle for a lot of different projects coming down the line. However, what we talked about in the last episode about adapting a Hellcat oil pump to, this is the vehicle we're going to be doing that. So I can give you guys some definitive before and after numbers on oil PSI, when it's idling, when it's cold. I want to go deep dive into that and give you guys some really great content, some really great information. Now, the problem is that as we found out in our last episode, this is not going to be a direct bolt-on. So there will be some things I'm going to have to do to actually get this thing in place. Also, you guys know me and you know that I don't really buy things that work perfectly. This engine is blown up, like everything I buy. You just know me, you know how it works. So we gotta actually fix this engine first. So again, a lot of modifications will be coming to this engine down the line on the channel, but first things first, we're just gonna get this thing right back to stock, get it running. I should have enough spare parts just kind of lying around the shop right now that I should be able to fix this thing and get it back up and running to give you guys that Hellcat oil pump information that you're looking for. Now, since I posted that last Hellcat oil pump video, there's a lot of you who have sent me a link to Melling's new high volume pump for those early generation Hemis. Now, to be honest, I didn't even know that they had actually come out with that pump yet. That was a new thing for me. So I went ahead and purchased one of those. So it should be here in literally a couple of hours. I'm going to have that pump here and I'm going to directly compare that to the Hellcat. Now, obviously for these pre-2009 vehicles, that's a pump that's going to make the most sense because it will be a direct bolt-on and it will be a higher volume pump. However, I still want to directly compare it to that Hellcat pump, so I will find a way to actually adapt the Hellcat pump onto this engine here, and we are going to test it back to back to back. Now, one thing that is actually slightly unusual for the vehicles that I buy, this thing's actually in pretty decent shape. I'm actually showing you the worst side right now. Right here on the front fender, you have a little ding right here. I shouldn't say little, it's like 6-7 inches long. However, it's just a front fender there. I honestly can't really find any other major body damage on this vehicle. Now, the hood is pretty oxidized, the paint there, and the thing looks filthy right now because we literally towed this thing through the snow to bring it back here, and there's still about 1.5 feet of snow out there, so it's filthy. We're gonna work on that. But again, I think it's actually a really nice car, and the interior especially is very, very nice, especially for the age that it is. So I'm actually really excited about this car. I think it's gonna be a great addition to the channel. Now, pretty much every Magnum, Challenger, 300, whatever from this era, they're going to be on 20-inch wheels. If they're not on stock wheels, they're on 20-inch wheels. And this one is no exception. It is on those 20-inch wheels. Now, these are a company called Liquid Metal, and to be honest, I don't really hate these wheels. For 20-inch wheels, I think they actually look somewhat decent. Not exactly my style, but definitely something I can deal with for now. Anyway, I want to get over here, get you guys a little bit more information about the car as a whole, and then we'll get into figuring out what's actually wrong with this thing. As I mentioned, pretty nice vehicle. Now, you look at the front headlights here, like every other vehicle of this era, they're very cloudy. I've got another headlight restoration kit coming like I used on that 03 Ram 1500. I think that's going to be a nice addition to it. The engine looks to be completely bone stock. Now, because it is a 2005, you have those aluminum valve covers on there, and you have these spark plug wires, which I really don't like that. I'll tell you what we're going to do about that here shortly. Now, continuing on, I wanted to show you guys that ding on the front fender here. You can kind of see it there. It just smacked, there we go. Just kind of smacked that body line pretty good. So that's a bummer, but overall, if that's the only real damage, not too shabby. Front bumper is actually in pretty good shape, which is surprising for these type of vehicles. Yeah, these vent visors on the windows, those have got to go. I can't stand those things. Come around the back. Again, look how clean this thing is. I'm very surprised and very, very happy. Now, it does have a hitch on there already, which is great news if I decide to do another Rocky Mountain Race Week. Come around this side, something that just is really classy, the Playboy bunny sticker. Oh my goodness, yep, that's going away almost immediately. But man, look at this thing. Like I said, it's not my favorite type of car, but I'm kind of coming around on it. It doesn't look too bad. All right, let's take a look at the interior. So like I said, it has that kind of dark gray. The seats aren't really in bad shape considering their age. Not bad at all. There's a little tear on the driver's side here, down low. But the passenger side is in perfect shape. No issues there. All the panels look great. The dash looks great. I mean, this car was actually really well kept. Look at the rear seats. It's almost like no one has ever sat in here at all. I'd open up the hatch for you, but right now this vehicle is completely dead battery-wise, so we got to jump this thing so I can get access to the battery. Now, something else that's unique for a vehicle that I bought is that this vehicle actually came with a rather lengthy service history on it. So I have lots of records of everything that was done. This car was actually very, very well maintained. I think he ended up giving it to his granddaughter or something, and she just drove it. And you know how it works. You just drive a vehicle. You don't know what's happening if you're not into cars. The story I got is something happened with the cooling system to where this vehicle overheated and now it needs an engine. So let's all say it together. Dropped valve seat. I am 90% that that's what we're gonna find when we dive into this thing. The real question though is, how much did it destroy? If it just damaged the cylinder head and a piston, I've got enough spare parts here where I can just rip this thing apart, slap some new parts on there or just used parts on there, get this thing back together again, get it running, and get you guys that information about the Hellcat oil pump. That's what I'm really striving to do. And then after that, after we get through that, then we can really dive into modifications. And like I've talked to you guys before, I'm really excited because now I can go a little bit further with these things, go a little bit crazier and do some really interesting stuff. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. So I literally have not even looked at this car since my wife went and got this thing for me a few weeks ago. Shout out to her. She drove all the way up to Seattle, Washington, about a 6.5 hour drive to pick this thing up in a snowstorm with my truck and trailer. So thank you very much. I love you for that. So again, I haven't actually looked at this thing at all. We're going to take an initial cursory inspection here. And one thing I just noticed, even just glancing over the engine here, is that you can see that it definitely did have an overheat issue because there's some coolant spilling out for the radiator cap there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can see right there, she definitely got hot and was spraying out the cap. So again, we're probably looking at a drop valve seat here, but the very first thing we're going to need to do here is actually get some battery power to this thing so we can actually click it on and see if we can actually find some codes in here. That way we can kind of narrow it down to which cylinder might be affected. And we still got nothing. So I think I'm gonna have to hook an actual battery to this thing. Now, one thing, this is actually a good teaching point right here, guys. One thing I found about these lithium ion little jump boxes here, they work really well when the battery is maybe low on charge or something like that. But if the lead acid battery is completely flat, these things usually won't do a darn thing. You'll have to get a more traditional jump pack. So they're useful in a lot of situations, and they're definitely cheaper than the major, like the big jump packs would be. But sometimes they're just not that effective, especially like I say, when the battery is completely flat. All right, we got this rear hatch open. To my surprise, these shock struts are actually still working on this hatch. Normally these things are long gone by now. Another example of what I was talking about being well taken care of. You have these cleaning products in here. He has some extra fluids just in case. I think this was really nicely taken care of for a long time anyway. All right, now let's go ahead and get a jump box on this battery so we can actually get some codes off of this thing. So one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about in this episode is this YA201 OBDII Enhanced Code Scanner. Now this company went ahead and sent this scanner out to me for free to go ahead and review it for them. Now it's just your basic powertrain scanner. It doesn't access ABS or airbag or anything like that. It's just powertrain codes. So I went ahead, there's a lot of these type of scanners out there in the market now. So I went ahead and emailed them back before they sent it out and said, hey, is there anything that actually sets your scanner apart from all the other ones that are out there? Now I'll go ahead and put a message up on the screen here of some of the different things that they mentioned, but one of the things that jumped out to me was the 5-year warranty. I think that's a great thing to have on a little code scanner like this. Another thing is the price. $30 they're asking for this thing. I mean, that's so basic, and if you're working on these modern day vehicles, you guys are aware that a powertrain scanner is an absolute minimum must have if you want to work on these things. Now, I myself prefer a more complicated scanner, but I am a professional. That's the sort of thing I do, so I want more data. Not all of us can afford stuff like that, so if you are just a hobby guy, this is something you do in this part-time for fun, $30 for one of these code scanners is a fantastic deal. And what's really great is that they told me that because I am reviewing this for them, they'll go ahead and give you guys a 30% discount on one of these scanners. That is craziness, so super cheap. Now, getting to the best part about this whole deal, if I test this thing out and it at least does what they say it'll do, I'm gonna give this thing away for free. I already have plenty enough scanners of this type. I don't need another one. Here's what I need from you guys. You know how bad I am at naming things. I need you guys to name our new Project Magnum here. And you guys are really good at that sort of thing. And whoever comes up with the best name, just send me your information. I'll let you know. Just send me your information. I'll send this to you for free. No problem. All right, let's go ahead and unbox this thing, hook it up, and see what we can find out. All right, it comes with a little USB attachment, and of course, it looks like almost every other code scanner you're gonna find out there, but that's okay, no problem with that. The biggest thing I find for little scanners like this is I want ease of usability. I don't need to be reading an instruction manual. I wanna be able to hook this thing up, follow the on-screen prompts very simply to figure out any sort of codes I need, or to look at some data screens, things like that. So let's get it hooked up. All right, so what you're gonna get here is basically exactly what you'd expect out of one of these little code readers. You have your diagnosis here, DTC lookup, which is kind of nice if you don't know what a code is off the hand. Then you have a battery test on here, which is kind of cool. And of course your settings. Now I did notice on this thing that it is in Celsius and probably in metric, so I'll need to change those settings. But for right now, we're just looking at diagnostics. So you just have your little touchpad here, you click OK. And actually on this vehicle, there are no codes, which is a little bit surprising, but sometimes when you have a drop valve seat, that's exactly what happens. The engine shuts off too quickly for it to register a code. So that's actually kind of good if they didn't try to run it after that. Now, one thing we can do, if you go back, actually we want to be in the ECM, TCM, you can actually go down and check out your live data. Now this is obviously very helpful in a lot of ways. There we go. And you can just scroll through and see basically everything, all the sensors reading on the vehicle. Now again, this is powertrain only, but for the price, this is a great little tool to have. I want to go down and try this little battery test here and see what happens. Okay, so you basically just have like a line graph and it just runs a continuous test as it goes along. Right now we're reading at 11.1 volts right at the top there. So that'll kind of like let you know where you stand. And of course, this will change if you turn the vehicle on or anything like that, or add a load to it. So I'm not sure exactly how useful this would be, but you know, it's just a little extra feature that it does have. There we go, guys. Pretty much everything you'd expect from a handheld scanner like this. It only does those powertrain codes, but for the cost and with that extra 5-year warranty on there, I think that does some pretty impressive stuff. I have a Matco one of these things that costs about 4 times as much that still doesn't even do everything that this one does. So I'm not down with that, and I don't think you guys are either. I don't really care what name is on this thing. I want it to actually perform, and I want it to be easy to use. So I think that's the case on this. I think it's a great pickup if you're a little bit strapped for cash and this is all you can get. This is definitely a great option for you guys. Now, so you know, I'm not actually making anything off of this whole deal. I'm not making anything on the back end. They just sent me out for a quick review. So I don't really care if you guys buy this thing or not. I'm just telling you, I think for the price, it's a good pickup. Now remember, you guys have a chance to win this one for yourself. Do the best you can to come up with a great name for our new Project Magnum here. And there's a chance I could pick yours and send this out to you for free. So I've immediately changed my mind. Now, what is the fun if I'm always the one choosing the winner on this sort of thing? So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take my top 3 favorites as far as what my favorite project name for the vehicle is. Then I'm going to put those as a poll on my channel and let you guys choose the winner. Now, because I am expecting a drop valve seat on here, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull all the coil packs off, and I'm going to pull all the spark plugs out, and then I'm going to stick a borescope down each and every cylinder and see if I can find one that's all chewed up. Now, I could be jumping the gun a little bit here, but based on the fact that the engine was very clearly overheated and now they say it doesn't run, I feel fairly confident with this step. So let's get ahead and take all these coils out of here. I have to admit that spark plug was not in there all that tight. Another good indicator here when you're looking for a dropped valve seat is that the actual electrode here, the strap will be smashed flat onto the spark plug itself from all the debris running down inside there. So if you pull out a spark plug and it's all smashed flat, you found your cylinder. This one looks fine other than the fact that it's completely covered in oil. These spark plugs are really not tight at all. Not that that's a huge issue, but it's just kind of surprising. That one looks okay. That one looks okay. All these spark plugs, they definitely look older. They definitely have not been changed in a while, but they don't look that bad, to be honest. Definitely no smoking gun yet, that's for sure. That one looks okay. That one looks okay. So hard part here is when you're going through the cylinders like this and you haven't found your winner yet, sometimes you start to get a little bit optimistic and think maybe there's something not wrong with this after all. Oh, I've done that before. I don't want to go down that road, but it would be so interesting if I pulled all these spark plugs out and none of them actually had any damage. That one's okay. That one's okay. One more. And the final verdict says, not this one either. Okay. Well, the spark plugs are disgusting. Look like they've been in there forever. Well, that is very interesting. We did not find a damaged spark plug. Now, of course, I haven't pulled all of them out, just one from each cylinder. Let's go ahead and get the borescope and actually inspect each one of these bores, see if we can't find ourselves an issue. Here's one of the benefits of having a more professional scanner. You have access to things like this. You have a borescope. Hi, it's me. With a decent camera on it. Now, of course, borescopes can be had pretty cheap these days, but it's pretty cool that it's a part of the scanner. All right, let's go into cylinder number 8 here. Take a look. Down the spark plug hole. All right. Okay, I do see some marks on the piston there, so this might be our hole. They seem pretty light. That would be fantastic. Okay, we got a few more marks over there. Yeah. We may have nailed it right off the bat that it's cylinder number 8 back there. Definitely some marks there. So, let's take a look at cylinder number 7. Oop, knocking some crud down there. Piston's way down there, but it looks okay. I don't see anything bad there. All right, sorry, that was cylinder number 6. Here's cylinder number 4. Looks fine. Not seeing any problems there. Cylinder number 2. So much dirt in these spark plug holes. Piston all the way at the bottom. And also not seeing any problems here. Cylinder number 2. Very crusty, but no problems. All right, let's look at cylinder number 1. Ooh. Oh! Winner! Okay, so we have a drop valve seat right there. You can actually see it. You are staring right at it. That is funny. So it has not completely fallen out yet. Well, I mean, it has fallen out, but it has not fallen down and been smashed by the piston. So that is something there. All right. Cylinder number 3. Come on, there we go. Yeah, looks fine to me. Cylinder number 5. Hard to see, but still no issues on that cylinder. Gonna clean this off. And cylinder number 7. Let me see here. Okay, a couple of marks there as well. So we might have multiple seats falling out, but I don't know that they've actually shattered, which is what usually damages the block. I think they just came out and maybe did not get blasted into pieces just yet, which would be great. So we might have issues with both sides of this engine. All right, so cylinder number 7, cylinder number 8. You can see some damage to this piston as well. Kind of the same story. Light gouges there. And then cylinder number 1 is our big winner, where you can actually see the valve seat itself just chilling right there. That's a win. So we went into this expecting to find a drop valve seat, and that is exactly what we found. So obviously this engine now has to come apart to fix these issues before I can move on and actually follow through on the Hellcat oil pump installation to give you guys those hard numbers. Like I said, I'm hoping I can make this actually a fairly quick thing. Now, I know there have been quite a few of you who have asking me with these early generation Hemis to actually show the in-depth process of when you have a drop valve seat, what is the procedure to fix them. Now, I feel like I've kind of showed that fairly well on my channel in the past, but I feel like also that there's a lot of new people here who haven't seen those before. So I'm kind of torn a little bit. I'd like to do more detailed videos showing exactly how to fix things, but I also kind of want to just knock this one out as quick as possible and get it back running again so we can move forward with the rest of the project. So you guys let me know on that. Do you want more in-depth, detailed videos about how exactly I'm going to go about fixing this thing to get it back to normal? Or do you just want me to get it done and jump ahead so we can move forward? That's going to be it for this episode, you guys. I want to thank you for following along this far. Now, I am so excited about this project. I hope you guys are as well. It seemed like the Magnum was the one that you guys wanted to see the most of these early generation models. So we've got one. We're going to fix this thing, and I'm just really pumped on it. So again, I hope you guys are as well. If you can, leave those suggestions for the name for this thing down in the comments below. You have that chance to win that little powertrain scanner. Oh man, I'm just pumped for this one. I can't wait for the next episode. We will see you guys next time on Reignited.